Welcome to the Man United Agenda. We're out of the cup. I know it's miserable out here, but we're going to discuss it, digest it, and give you our best. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. My name's OMONDI Juma. I'm going to go around the room. Everyone introduce yourselves and just quickly tell me how you feel. Starting with Rebel.
Well, on Monday, obviously, Rebel here over representing Manchester United supporters in Ireland. I have to say I'm disappointed. I suppose this was our last big chance of ending this season, and we'll have a lot to talk about in terms of the game, I think.
Mr. B, just done a watch-along.
I'm gutted, bro. I am so gutted of OMONDI, man. I'm gutted. I'm gutted, especially after that first 43 minutes. I'm gutted with the result, man. But it is what it is. Man United never failed to do that to us. So we dust ourselves down as we do and try to pick ourselves up to go again, don't we?
That's the attitude. Connor, how are you feeling, bro?
Yank Talking Smack, representing the American United fans. And even though I do not drink, I'm wishing that this coffee was filled with booze so I can drown my sorrows after that shit.
And I just want to say quickly, I'm really, at the moment, because it's so soon after the game, my heart's broken. I feel really disappointed. It's sad to go out like that when we kind of played pretty well. But you have to give credit where it's due. This is a elite competition, and we're not ready at the moment, are we? So first of all, on some good news, do you want to big up Stephen Fleetley? If you don't know Stephen Fleetley, he's an ex-Ace F1 reporter. And also, he supports Arsenal as well, and he's a good friend of ours as well. So hopefully you'll lose tomorrow. But in the meantime, he's become a member of the Man United Agenda, and that shows you we've got a lot of unity here. These rivalries sometimes don't come in because we're all kind of friends, except when we play each other. So big up to Stephen Fleetley TV and your channel, and we'll be talking to you soon. Big up, man. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for becoming a member. All right, so the first subject, Rebel, you want to fling it up? Right, guys. Big game. We drew 1-1 with them in the first leg. This was massive tonight. I mean, anticipation, the build-up. We were talking throughout the week. We've done a preview show. Let's look at the starting 11. You know, how do we set up? Here are the questions, guys. How do we set up? Do you think it was a good setup by Ralph system? How we played? And early players to play. How do we play in the first half? Because I thought it was quite positive. Over to Connor. Start us off.
I mean, the thing is, I looked at this lineup when it came out, and I was rather happy. I was like, okay, solid. You know, there's still the shaky. I'm not, a huge fan of Maguire ever playing, but was besides that really happy with the lineup. But I thought we'd do really well. It showed earlier in the game, and I think it kind of was interesting how very early in the game you could tell this ref just didn't know what he was doing, and somehow was able to bribe his way to getting his refereeing license because he wasn't calling anything, and when he was, it was always against us and never against Atletico. But we were still outperforming them completely early. Early, we were still completely outperforming Atletico. The game was ours early on. It's just unfortunate that it got taken away from us, and that we ended up not being able to convert chances.
Why do you think we were like outperforming them? Is it because of the lineup, where we positioned our players? What do you think the key factor was there?
I think it's because, honestly, so how we set up, I think we set up well. And I think the great thing that I think Mr. B being on the watch line can also confirm, we were very, very rapid at building up immediately when we got that ball. We weren't very, usually I'm used to seeing us kind of dawdle on the ball and not really getting attacking into them, but we really seemed to be wanting to go at them every single second in the first half. And it was working. We nearly had a couple goals. We just couldn't get anything across the line, and it's unfortunate.
Over to you, Rebel. Rebel, what do you think about the starting lineup and our style of play? How we played in the first half? Anything changes you would have made also?
Well, I suppose early going, having looked at the Tottenham Hotspur game, I thought, Matic was probably a locked starting next to Fred. I would have thought maybe to give us a bit of security and settle us early into that game. Now, in hindsight, to be honest with you, I can't fault the lineup that he put forward. Now, as a part of banter, I did share a screenshot with you on Monday of my Maguire mistake checklist page, but that was more shithousery than anything else, to be honest with you. But in terms of the tempo that we came up with, I have to say, Rangnick set out his stall in a quite comprehensive manner. I thought we played with great tempo, great attacking prowess, I suppose, not prowess, intuition that we wanted to get at Atletico Madrid. We wanted to get a goal, and basically we wanted to set our stall out that we wanted to make it our business to be ahead and put our front foot forward. In terms of the players that started, I really can't fault anyone. I think Dallo and Tellez got involved in our attacking play very well. In terms of McTominay and Fred, I thought Fred was an absolute superstar in the first half. Everything that we seemed to do seemed to go through him. I was very impressed with him. Sancho, again, was problematic for the team. And interestingly, Ronaldo, having scored his hat-trick at the weekend, we seem to utilise him more deeper and out in the left and right-hand side, which I thought was interesting. I presume the thought process there was maybe that with him coming back deeper, it might create a bit more space for our wing-backs and our wingers to possibly create an attacking threat. But in terms of the lineup, my only one at the start was I would have started Matic, but in hindsight, I don't think you could say that it was a mistake from Rangnick.
A couple of guys in the comments were asking about possession stats. It's mixed up. Someone says 65, someone says 61. Between me and Rebel, before the game, we thought it was 58%.
In terms of the first
58% for Man United.
In the terms of the first half, first 10 minutes we had 65% possession for the first 10 minutes. At the 20-minute mark, that was down to 60, and at towards 35-40 minutes, it was down to around 59-58% possession, and I think we averaged out over the course of the entire 90 at 58.
Okay, so it's 58. So we did have the majority of the game. Mr. B, over to you. You've watched the game with as a reporter this time. You know, probably had your trench jacket on and your earmugs on as well. I listened to the show. You guys, I feel it like you. What's your feelings, man, about the lineup? And do you think, like the guys are saying, that we played pretty well? It was decent, the way we set up in the first half? Can't hear you, Mr. B.
Obviously, Ralph didn't listen to Solo with his team selection and go with Wan-Bissaka and Shaw. The back four was what I expected it to be. I'll be honest, I was surprised that both McTominay and Fred started, but I've learned not to cuss too much before the game. But to be honest, I think they played really, really well. Fred was unfred today. That's about the best I can give him. McTominay, I thought the first half we were good. There was no problem. Even when they scored, I still thought that we would create more than we did. I mean, the chances we created, were they great chances? Were they chances that, you think a goalie of our black standard wouldn't have saved? So, yeah, I'm
that first one off his face was definitely one I didn't think he'd save.
Oh wow!
I mean, as I said, it's just so frustrating. I mean, that first half is the best we've played in a long time. I'll be honest. I thought that was the best we played in a long time. All of the players, not just one, not just two, all of them. Even Maguire on Monday. I can't. I'm not going to sit here and say he was bad, or he did this, or he did that. To a man, I think everybody played well in the first half. Second half, there was just things. I mean, the Atleti goal. It was a carbon copy. It was a carbon copy of the goal that Felix scored in the first leg. The same two men behind the fullback, whoever our right back was.
Dallo.
So he had two players to mark again. I just looked at it, I thought, are they going to do this to us again? It's like they didn't learn. So fair play to Atleti for having a style, a system of, you talk about it all the time, a system. For them to score the carbon copy goal I think that's what got me more frustrated. It wasn't a scream, it was the same fucking cross from the bloody right-hand side onto the player's head. I mean, it's just so frustrating. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah.
Connor, I'm going to come on to you. Do you think that goal was worked by Atletico Madrid? Because 7 minutes before they scored, in the 40th minute, they scored, got another goal, which was deemed offside, but it was a similar worked move where the ball was played down the right, in between the defender and the fullback. The overlapping run, cross to the middle or the far post, and I think it was Felix who knocked that one in. But then 7 minutes later, the same move, pop in midfield, nice through ball, and Felix held it up with Varane, gave a little back heel for the overlap, and they scored. And at halftime, I think people were pointing at Elanga, saying Elanga should have got back in there. But what do you think about the goal? Do you think it was just like hot knife through butter, just a class goal? Or do you feel, are you talking about mistakes here?
I mean, first of all, the goal, that attack should have never happened. But I'm not even going to get into the fact that Llorente body slammed Fred to the ground in the build-up and the whole thing. I'm not even going to get into that because that's not technically part of the goal. But you could tell that they had the thing is, Diego Simeone is a smart man. When we talk about good managers, Diego Simeone is a smart man. He obviously had a plan as to how he wanted to attack this United defense and knew, and I'll admit it, Tellez is not great defensively. We've seen that. We've seen Tellez, when he's on the pitch, his strength is going forward. It's not really being back. It's been like that even when he was at Porto, and it's now been like the same that it's been at United. So he obviously had a way of attacking, and they did that multiple times. We saw, like you said, the offside goal, and then the goal that they ended up scoring the same way. Do I think Dalot? I think Dalot, honestly, the thing is he was guarding two players, but one of the center backs covered the man in front of him. And then it took him another couple seconds after that to finally be like, oh, there's someone behind me the entire time, and run back. So there's multiple things. Dalot could have immediately gone back, because the thing is with the cross, if the cross is going to go to the man in front of them, it had to get through a couple United players first. It's going to be a lot easier to loft it all the way over to behind him than it is to go in front of him, because there's so many players that if it's even a little low on that cross to the front guy, it's not going to reach him. But, and then I also heard some shouts, and I kind of agree that De Gea could have possibly come off of his line and tried to punch that or claim that or something. So there's multiple mistakes that are made. And I agree with Mr. B. I think the most frustrating thing is we haven't learned. It's the same thing again. We got burned, and it was called offside minutes earlier. That's how they scored their only goal against us back in Madrid. And they've done it to us once again. I think that's the worst thing, and I agree with Mr. B, is that they just did not learn. Not only did it happen last match, but it happened 7 minutes earlier. We have to be smarter. We have to adapt. If you're getting burned in the same spot against the same team multiple times, you have to learn to adjust. And that's what's so frustrating.
You know what? I just want to say big up to everyone in watching now. I know we're disappointed, but if you wouldn't mind pressing the like button for us. Yeah, and I'm sighing now. Just quickly, I'll give you my quick, before I come on to Rebel, I just think the first half, the starting lineup was, I was a bit disappointed. I would have liked to have seen Matic in there, but the way they played in the first half, they were busy and all that. But then they did, where they get caught out is from being busy, closing down, rushing the ball down, and it's like pop around them. And one first-time pass cut us to shreds, you know, that kind of thing. So it's really disappointing, but I have to give credit to Atletico Madrid for the goal, which we're talking about now. I thought, like Connor was just saying, that move was already, they gave us a rehearsal prior to that, 7 minutes before that, and then they delivered again, pop in midfield. We're trying to close down the ball, and one pass, it was a first-time pass, not even a control, pop through the middle, and I really rate Felix. He ran with Varane stood him up, but then you don't dive in with him, and he was able to sort of look around, hold it up for players to get the overlap, and I thought I had to applaud. That was a really good goal. I do think Elanga, when he, upon reflection, he should have made the way he's running fast to get forward. Sometimes he got to make that same run going backwards, and if he was in there, he could have put the guy off a bit and made it more difficult for him. But also I think De Gea and Dalot and Harry Maguire, these guys should be communicating while they're running back, scanning everything. To say, right, there's a man back post, man beyond you, so you can actually have a look. Because even though you've got to take responsibility to look yourself, sometimes I think Dalot was occupied by the two guys in front of him. He was and didn't look that way. That's when De Gea's got to say, look to your right or Langer, come back in or something while the play is going and while it's developing. And also give credit to Griezmann because in that state they played, I thought they played 4-4-2, but they didn't. When they didn't have the ball, Griezmann played on the right. It was like a 4-5-1. And then when they broke, he was able to cross the ball with his right foot, his weaker foot, straight to the guy for the goal, for the header. So well done to Atletico Madrid. Rebel, do you want to talk about the goal, how they broke us down, and any issues for you regarding that? Because Connor was in as well about maybe a couple of fouls.
I do want to pick up on a few things. Firstly, I think we were fortunate that Llorente did stray offside. You could say that was down to the communication between the United line to make sure that they did not play him onside, but we were fortunate with that one. I suppose the big thing for me was there was two main threats to us in the first half. One was the offside where they caught us on a break and we seemed to be a bit disorganised defensively, but we managed to navigate our way out of it by way of that offside. The second one then was obviously the Atletico goal, and I want to bring it back actually to where Langa, whether he was fouled or not, that's basically indifferent at this point. But the big talking point for me is that we seem to not play the whistle. We stopped. We seemed to slow to a walk in the centre of our midfield. We had Ronaldo kind of trying to remonstrate with the referee, and they did not seem to start covering back because the Atletico players continued to move and make their attack while we were kind of holding a conference with the referee in the centre and midfield. That there is one problem that I identified coming up to the goal. So if they continued to play and let the referee make the decision, chances are there'd be more players back in the area of the box, and Dallo would not actually be left. It was 1 and 3 actually that he was left with on his own. There was 3 unmarked Atletico de Madrid players after the ball was played through before it was crossed to Lodri for the goal. It was a 1 and 3 scenario that Dallo was facing. He followed his man, which he had to do, because if he hadn't followed him and went deep, he would have been caught with the shorter ball in the middle anyway. So essentially what we were looking at then is players not getting back. Alanga probably should have possibly got up when he realised this foul wasn't coming and burst along to come back and cover Lodi. And the other part was we should have at least had 1, if not 2, of those midfielders that slowed to a walk while trying to arbitrate for a foul on Langat midfield, follow back the Let's Go players and make sure that if it wasn't given, the opportunity and the looseness that was presented wasn't available to them. So they're the 2 big talking points for me. Is we should have continued to play, because clearly they could see that Atletico were continuing to form their attack and nobody was following back because they were too busy chatting to the ref.
Okay, guys, it's half time here. Let's just break it down quickly. The first half, after 12 minutes, that was the save from the head of the keeper of Atletico Madrid. Oh, man, if only that would have gone in, 19 minutes gone. Fred done a little skill. It reminded me of Redondo. Do you remember what Redondo did to us after Real Madrid on the goal?
Was that against Hedinberg?
Hedinberg.
Yeah.
Yes, you remember that? Yeah.
Listen,
Any of you guys remember that? So Fred
Berbatov.
done the skill.
Berbatov skill.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Good shout. Yeah, there's 2 then.
That's a Berbatov skill on that line.
Redondo was amazing. That was a great speech of skill. So credit to Fred. I know Mr. B has said some positive things today about Fred and his performance, about skill.
Someone gave him back his Brazilian passport. I don't know who it was who gave him back his Brazilian passport, but I just thank whoever gave him back his Brazilian passport. Thank you.
It's 21st minute. It was a penalty kick call, but wasn't given on Bruno. Griezmann was sort of playing. I noticed Griezmann was playing as a right midfielder, tucking in and fitting in for the team. And the guy who played Llorente played sort of right wing back. I thought he played really well. That's not his position, and he played really well. He was up and down and really, he couldn't do much against Sancho. But I thought for being that position, he's done really well. The goal, obviously, 33 minutes. The offside goal, 33 minutes. Their goal came at 40 minutes. And then in the 45th minute, Bruno had a shot just from outside the box. Remember, it sort of swerved and dipped, and the keeper was able to play it out. So we were really pushing on. Just quickly, before we go into the comments, do you think we felt, did you see any stage where, like the Man City game, we were accused of being deflated? Do you ever feel that during the game we were deflated, guys?
No, only after they scored. I think after that 4-minute spell after they scored, we couldn't string. more than 3 or 4 passes together. So I think that affected them. Came out second half. We'll discuss anyway. But no, I don't think there was they were okay. They were pretty good in the first half.
Rebel and Connor, do you see any issues about being deflated today?
I think
we weren't against City on Tuesday.
I wouldn't say they were deflated. I'd imagine there was an element of frustration that they coughed up the goal because obviously they knew what that meant, that they would be a low block played in front of them and that they would have to break it, let go down in that second half, which we will be talking about shortly. But I think it was more frustration than deflation because they knew it was all on the line and that they had to make sure they got a goal in the next 45 minutes, which was the second half of that game. And I think
Connor?
That was it.
Sorry. Yeah, Connor, deflation. We were accused of that, being deflated against City, putting our heads down, not trying. Do you see that today?
I really didn't. It seemed like we kind of just. I mean, first of all, with how I think you can see how deflated the team gets because they stop, especially with how chippy Atletico is. And even the commentator said that one of Atletico's specialties is slowing the game down by cheap bull crap, which we saw once again, cheap little call things. And in reality, those should be called, but I think they kind of got uplifted by the fact that a lot of them weren't. But you could see no matter what, throughout the entire game, there was still, we were never happy with anything going against us, anything being called against us, anything not being called for us. So I don't really think there was any moment, especially right after the goal, that we were really deflated. I think it just made us more angry, especially with the potential 2 fouls in the build-up. I think that just made us even more angry. I would have loved to see that anger lead to a goal. But, we can say whatever we want. I wish we did so many things in the past, but there's a reason.
I didn't see the Fred one. You mentioned the Fred one. I only saw that afterwards. But the Langer was brought down, wasn't he, going forward? And then the Fred issue as well. So, there's 2.
There's multiple issues, but either way, that should have been sorted. Either way.
Just
that's
go through.
We can say whatever we want.
Now. We got 15 people watching. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I know some of you come in to sort of mock us, but we're still here. We're going to represent. So Matthew, he said that was a big, that was a load of crock. That was season's over for us. He feels Proud Terrier in the house. How you doing? Good evening. Go ahead, talk to me while I'm going through. Yeah, Matthew Bassett says play Ronaldo and Cavani up front in a 5-3-2 formation. He says he's not done. If we play this formation, according to Matthew, we could actually do something. Mark Edmund saying our fullbacks aren't good enough for a back 3, so maybe not then. Okay, sorry, Matthew. Sorry, Mr. B, go on.
No, that's what I was going to say, that I don't think our wingbacks are good enough to play now in that
Stumpy saying, big up Stumpy, how you doing? Stumpy did say it last night. I had a go at you. I was disappointed because you said we lose, but you were right. We are finished, Stumpy says. Oh, God.
We are.
Deep.
We're done.
We're weak everywhere throughout the pitch, says Matthew Bassett. It's very sad day today, isn't it? Matthew's also saying it's a low block, sitting deep, counter-attacking football from Atletico. So you have to give them credit for what they did. We dominated them. We really should have won, said Mark Edmund. So bit of balance there. Want to say hi to UK Strains. He said possessions mean nothing because we talked about possession earlier. What do we say in the end? 58 to 61%, and we still lost.
No matter the possession, it doesn't matter when we don't score.
As GMS LTD says, he says Atletico are clinical. That's all that matters. So
I have one kind of funny thing to say. I have one funny thing to say about that. Does Sancho have some sort of bet that he can get a mega game? Because it seems like he's got some bet with somebody behind the scenes that he has to nutmeg one opposing player a game. That's just for me. That I'm just trying to put a little humor into this game. But it seems there's some sort of bet where he has to get one a game.
As professionals, that's seen as a real insult, isn't it? Nutmegging someone on the pitch as professionals. You'd get kicked up in the air for that kind of thing. But Richard Herbert say rubbish all over the pitch.
Like 3 matches in a row. Like 3 matches in a row where he nutmegs somebody, and I'm like, is there some sort of bet where he gets £10 back in training every time he nutmegs an opposing player? I say keep it up because it's absolutely filthy.
I think Dele Alli was sort of bet. Dele Alli would have been more accused of doing something like that. Richard Herbert, brother of Anthony, who both in the house, they said rubbish. This Richard's a Man United supporter. He says rubbish all over the pitch. Ronaldo was deep, never got into the game. Should have started for Cavani. Needed another outlet up top after 30 minutes. Dugout Daily said, lads, that was quality. He's a Man City supporter. So there's a little dig. Richard again is saying Andy Herbert had a bad night. Man United at Champions League. Bristol City lost. All right, Rovers lost. These Bristolians. Matthew again, I suppose we can focus on top 4 now. And a major rebuild is needed. That we can all agree on. We're going to obviously discuss that all year. Mark Edmonds saying Llorente pushed Sancho over 6 times before he finally gave a free kick. Absolutely ridiculous about the ref. But we're not going to talk about the ref. I mean, that's the easiest thing to do when we lose like this, is attack the ref. But no one's perfect. Defense has been a problem for us all season. 6 years without a trophy. It's our longest run in 40 years. And back to the old thing about Glazers out. New stadium. We know about that. We'll talk about that in later shows. Legends in the house. He said it's a struggle for United to make top 4 now. Think about these comments, guys. Anything you want to touch on? UK Strange again saying, what did we do to win the game? I'm hearing. Oh, you didn't watch the game. Listen to us. Yeah, we did create a few chances. I think we tried our best. Just want to say hi to Canners. He's always comparing Canners, Saka. He's an Arsenal fan. Saka and Sancho. Sancho was good today, as we're talking. Connor was saying about Nutsing guys. He's really improved and looking great player at the moment. And Newsom. And says, didn't understand why Bruno came off. Okay, we're going to come on to that with the subs. Could have used him and Pogba. And Matteo, just want to say hi to Matteo. I'm here. It needs some United therapy. Oh, here we go. So what's the next topic we're going on? So, guys, considering we had the possession, and I know we've already gone for that, GMS already talked about it. Possession we didn't have that in the first game. That shows how versatile Atletico are. But we had all possession and lack of chances created, clear-cut chances. Let's talk about that because I'm trying to go through, my notes and
can I get that
apart
first?
from the Atlanta one, which should have been a goal, I can't recall many clear-cut chances. Over to you, Rebel.
Yeah, I actually have my notes here in front of me. The only first half chance, the only clear-cut chance which Oblak was tested was that Elanga goal word shot that he tipped away. And at the 20-minute to go mark in the second half, Oblak had not been tested again. So we went basically this over an hour with one single solitary chance where we tested Oblak. Which is very concerning for me.
With our possession, Connor, 61% possession. Do you think we used it well? Do you think we opened them up too much?
I mean, possession and expected goals are two things that I just think are a load of crap when you look at a game. Especially because now we look at it, and of course, Atletico's won with less possession. I think we used the first half. We used our possession very well because, like I said, we were attacking constantly. We seemed to very much be ready to go at Atletico's deep sitting defensive backline the entire first half. But I can't say that they used it well because we didn't score. You cannot say the possession to use well unless you can put goals up on the scoreboard. If this is a 2-1 win or a 3-1 win or a 2-0 win, we've used our possession brilliantly because guess what? We've scored 2 goals. But 61% possession, you can never call that good use of possession when you end up getting shut out still at home.
Mr. B, possession. How do we use it? How do you see it from your eyes?
Not enough. We didn't use it enough. I mean, watching the game, I was happy with how we played. But then when it comes to the fact that we didn't create any chances in the game, you tend to not forget about that. But I think Elanga was the only chance in the first half. And then you look at the second half and you think, flipping heck, what else did we do? How much more chances did we create? So right now, in possession, we're better. We say, we look at it, we've created all of these chances, blah, 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 blah. I would rather create 2 chances and score 2 goals. Just be clinical. Be ruthless in what you're doing, So it's frustrating. I don't know what we can do to change it on Monday, to be honest. I don't know. Well, there's nothing we can do this season because we're stuck with the players that we've got, but we don't create enough chances for our centre forward, and especially as we only play with one. You know, all right, we've got the greatest player in the world, but he can't pick up the ball and do what Pele said to do in Escape to Victory. Give me the ball and do these. Yeah, he can't do that. He can't do that anymore, you know. So it's difficult. It's difficult, and I'm not sure it's going to improve before the end of the season.
I think that comes with consistency. What we saw today was a team that's well drilled for years and years and years, and the move they made, they've obviously done it in the training ground. They've done it twice to us. They've scored one, offside for one, and that's the difference. They've adapted their game. First game was different for them. This game again, they want a back foot and then we're wary of that before the game. But I think with consistency, we need consistency with our style of play. And it takes years, I think, to get to that level where you can fall back on something and it's instant. It just comes instant where you know how to create chances, that kind of thing. So, we're going to move on to our next point. Before we do, I just want to say big up to everyone in the comments again. We've got 10 in the house at the moment. Can you please press the like button? And,
Before
what are you going to say, Rebel? Sorry.
Just a quick brief one, because it will not register in this list of chances on Oblak because of the direction that the ball ultimately went. But just before the 3 substitutions, Bruno Fernandes whipped an absolutely luxurious ball towards Sancho at back left post, and he hit it first time with a sublime shot, which was a hair's breadth from being tucked in the roof of Oblak's net. I don't think that the stats will reflect how dangerous that Sancho was during that first hour of play. He was marauding and he was creating problems. The only time I think that he ran into trouble was he didn't select a pass to the middle or late in the first half and ended up in traffic with 3 or 4 Atleti players around him. But I just wanted to highlight that passage of play, which before it leads us on to the controversial triple sub.
Okay, here we go now. So remember, guys, in the 46th minute, we had a chance with Elanga, almost sort of had that same sort of shot like he scored in the first leg, and just went wide, even though the keeper got a touch. It should have been a corner. Do you remember that after 46 minutes? 59th minute, Sancho had a chance at the back post, and maybe should have kept it down. I think he should have done a lot better there. You know, when he volleyed it over the bar, that was a good opportunity, I felt. And that was kind of creative from us as well. And then, obviously, in the 67th minute now, our manager, who's done pretty well, he's always making them around the 65th minute. He made 3 direct like-for-likes, which was Rashford for Elanga. It was also, he brought on
Pogba for Bruno,
which I know Rebel wants to talk about. And also, he brought on Matic for McTominay. So, can we talk about these subs and whether they had impact and how were you feeling at the time, especially with the Bruno one? Mr. B, before, because I know Rebel's got a lot to say about this. Mr. B, talk to me.
I'm so pissed. You know what? I'm on there. I'm going to be honest, right? I'm sitting down here and I'm listening. This result bloody hurts.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sitting down. You know, the subs, I'll be honest, those were probably the best subs to have brought on in the game. Those were the ones that I spoke to talk about before the game, saying that those are the 3 players that would come on. I completely forgot that Cavani was on the bench as well. I'm not sure he gave them enough time, all of them enough time to get into the game. I mean, Pogba came on. He didn't do much when he came on. But I think he did it, the subs he made, he did it to keep the formation the same. And then when Cavani came on, that's when the formation changed to, it was just basically, we need a goal. We don't care how we get a goal. So maybe if he had gone a little bit more gun-ho a little bit earlier, maybe something would have changed. But Pogba being a sub in a very important game for us, I'm just going to assume that Fred, I mean, you can't fault what Fred and McTominay did today. You know, but legs-wise and ability-wise, you would always have Pogba on the pitch. So him coming on, triple sub. I think I like triple subs. I think it shows the manager's got a little bit of balls. I like it. I like triple subs.
Rebel, I mean, we're talking about triple subs here, but let's go into detail now. Rashford came on. Pogba came on for Bruno. I felt, was saying you would have liked Bruno to stay on the pitch. You're quite happy with his performance. What do you think about the subs then?
Yeah, I'm going to actually loop in the Cavani one just because I do want to loop Cavani into what my thought process would have been at the substitution at point of the, based on form. I could not see any reason to bring on Rashford onto that game because he had been so poor in the last few games. So while maybe Elanga had possibly emptied the gas tank and needed to come off, that's possibly where I'd have looked to Cavani and maybe have introduced him for Elanga to offer a more attacking threat. The message for Scott one I'm fine with because, again, I think maybe Scott's gas tank may have been empty and it made sense to make sure that we did not concede again. So the security blanket of Matic made perfect sense to me. But this is where it all goes pear-shaped to me. Pogba in that Spurs game, who had to deputise for Bruno Fernandes in the more attacking role, didn't seem to be as effective. And we were looking to him to alter the game for us late on, where Bruno, to be fair to him, had created a number of chances, was putting in decent balls into the box. I referenced the Sancho chance, which that was a majestic ball that he put in. He seemed to be pretty much a thorn in the side of the Atletico team with the way that he was trying to influence what we were doing. But I could not see a reason why, at that stage, Pogba was to be brought on. And then, with hindsight, it looked, again, like Pogba was ineffective in that more advanced role for the second consecutive game. So, for me, that would have to be chalked down as a bad substitution on behalf of Ranić. So, what I would have liked to have seen was Bruno to remain in the field, Cavani possibly coming on for Elanga if it was the case that Elanga's gas tank was, in fact, empty. If not, maybe I would have sacrificed initially Scott for him in order to possibly attack that goal if that's what the logic was, that we needed to hit a goal and get ourselves back into the game. Then possibly with Matic coming on later for somebody in order to shore up the midfield again. But I'll be honest with you, the Rashford and Pogba substitutions for me, based on what we'd seen in the last number of games, they did not make sensible substitutions. And it's the first time I questioned Ranić's substitutions.
Okay, so we haven't got long left. We've got one more topic to discuss after this. Over to you, Connor. 3 substitutions, triple substitutions. Are you happy with the Bruno for Pogba? Sorry, the Pogba for Bruno. Are you happy with Elanga, Rashford coming on? Are you happy with the Cavani coming on for Harry Maguire? And the other sub was
Mata. Mata came on for Maguire.
For Harry Maguire, sorry. And Fred came on for Cavani, sorry. Yeah, so anything that disappointed you about the performance of the guys that came on, or Ralph's choice of substitution?
I mean, I'm disappointed in every substitution because they did all. So I mean, there was no goal scored. There was no improvement in the team by any of them coming on. Rashford still looks completely lost half the time on the pitch. His cross was dreadful. But, you know, I think they were great. See, Ralph's smart. I think they were very smart subs. Each one was well thought out, and they were done for a reason. The one not to Maguire, you could tell literally was him last gasp, trying to get something to keep this game going so that we can try and get a winner in extra time. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with it. It's just I wish they never had to happen because I would have rather had us be up 1-0 trying to end the game instead of us having to desperately have 3 defenders on the pitch because we need to score a goal so desperately to just stay in the tie.
Okay. Guys, what's the next one? So we're moving on now. What's next for Man United and United's best player? Guys, just really, we're going to finish up in the next 5 minutes. What is next for us now? Obviously, it's the league. We've got to focus on the Premiership. We're out of all other competitions. Can we get top 4? That's the main thing for me right now. I mean, we're going to tune in. I'm going to tune in tomorrow to see if Liverpool can put a dent on Arsenal because they've got games in hand. It's out of our hands right now. How do you see us going forward, guys? Any positives to take? Can we take this sort of form, or this sort of level play that we've kind of played today. We really did try our best and make every game a cup final and actually get our goal, which is top Champions League.
In terms
Over to you, Mr. B. Oh, sorry, Rebels, sorry.
In terms of the game tonight, I suppose one thing to highlight is we build this Cristiano Ronaldo signing as the last dance. And for us tonight, it was our last dance in the Champions League. Qualifying for next season, as you rightly said, is out of our hands. But I suppose the more poignant thing to note is at 37 years of age, it could potentially have been Cristiano Ronaldo's last ever Champions League game if he remains with us next season and does not move to a club unless we pull out the impossible and overhaul Arsenal and reach a top four. That, of course, for us is completely and utterly out of our hands. Obviously, all we can do is try and put up as many points on the table as possible, but we are relying on the results of other teams in order to make our way into that competition next season. That, for me, is the most unfortunate and dissatisfactory point, is that it is not within our control to navigate our future. It is within the remit of the performances of other clubs. And when we look back in this season, we will have had a few growing positives. I think we will all have been happier with the tempo. There's a lot more to be done building on tonight's game, obviously with our chance creation being key amongst it, and our mentality is to make sure that we do not concede the type of loose chances that we did in the first half. But tonight's story was it's Ronaldo's last dance, possibly with Manchester United in the Champions League. And my
That's a good
player
title,
of the
Mr. B. You agree?
was Fred.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
Mr. B, best player of the game. Where do we go from here? Let's wrap this up.
I'm calling Fred. I think on Fred's first half performance, it wasn't just a good Fred performance. It was a good any central midfielder performance. He got me oohing 3 times. He did 3 bits of skill that surprised me. Jadon Sancho's been consistent. He's consistently showing man left, showing man right, and going past them. I'll give it to Fred this week, followed by closely followed by Sancho. What's next? Nothing. We're done. The season is well and truly over. I have no expectations of catching anybody. I don't believe we're going to win the 10 games that we've got left, regardless of who we have to play. I can see us getting not enough points to finish in 5th place. And as Bath Time put in here, the only way we're qualifying for Champions League now is if they deduct Chelsea points. And guess what? They could deduct Chelsea points and no Man United will finish 6th. So it'd be the team above us that would get the points anyway. So right now, I don't expect nothing from them. They're done. They're finished.
And finally, over to you, Connor. Your player of the match, and what do you expect for the rest of the season, and what's realistic for us?
Player of the match. First half, I see for me, there's no overall player of the game. First half was Fred because he was just out of his skin that first half. I said he went from Sunday League footballer to Maradona with his passing and his dribbling this game. And I don't know how he did it. But again, I bless anybody who actually gave him back his passport and taught him to do that, because that's incredible. I didn't think that was possible. But second half, my player of the game, a lot of people have been bagging Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo was actually pretty good. He was really, really trying as much as he could. He unfortunately caught a bit of a headbutt from Slabhead on the corner. So we see, I don't know if any of y'all saw that. Yeah, right on the mountain. Yeah, Slabhead, if we want to talk about Agent Slabhead working for the other team every single time he plays, that's just a freaking example right there, him headbutting his own player in the mouth. But where we go from here is absolutely nowhere. I have zero expectation and zero confidence in this team going forward. Absolutely nothing. I like Mr. B said, even if Chelsea's deducted points, which, God, I would love to see them just relegated. Completely just relegate them from the league. I would love it. I would love the Chelsea tears that would flow down their faces. I would literally I have my coffee cup for them right here.
Can I just come in with one brief point? First of all, I'd imagine Solo sitting somewhere grinning like a Cheshire cat at all the adoration to Fred. Secondly, of course, Manchester United for the remainder of the month are now without a game due to Liverpool being involved in latter stages of Cup. That game has been postponed. So we have a bit of time to gather ourselves and to come back stronger, hopefully, in April and at least finish the season with a bit of dignity, a bit of pride and a bit of passion for the jersey, hopefully. And unfortunately, it's now 6 seasons without a trophy, which is disappointing.
The last time we got a big break from games,
Right,
we had a big absolute shite after COVID, so that gave me even less confidence now.
Guys, we have to wrap up now. Let's make it a 45-minute show on the money. You know, we're not going to Fergie time right now. But I will, because I just want to say my little piece, my ending summary. I'm disappointed. My heart is broken. Like I said at the start of the show, it's over now to this war with Arsenal. Arsenal's done really well this season. They've shown how to sort of build and how to. Obviously, they're playing once a week, but I would have rather stayed in the competition. Obviously, like you're saying, Rebel, we have to wait a couple of weeks for our next fixtures. But whoever we play from now on, I know we've got to go to Liverpool. I know we're going to Arsenal. And there's a few other games that we're really going to be important. We will be tuning into every one of them. Make sure you tune in on Friday night to Mr. B. I'm sure you're going to have an inquest and discuss this once you cheer yourself up. I got a quiz show with one of the Herbert brothers on Friday night as well. Connor, all the way from America, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Always there for the post-match show with some great analysis. Rebel, thanks again, showing your face. No tears, as Kunle was trying to say. No tears from us, guys. We're big men. We can take it. But I think we're still in the top 4 race. I expect Arsenal to crumble. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna be bold enough to say that. I still think we can get top 4. And I think sometimes disappointment like this and having a good hard look at yourself can turn it around. I think the performances were good. My player today was probably Fred as well. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I thought as a team we've done all right. I'm disappointed with Harry Maguire. He looked nervous as hell, and every time he got the ball, my heart was racing. He's really not in the races. Psychologically, he's defeated. You know, he's like a journeyman out there now. He's done. I think people have sussed him out, and I'm saying that, and I'm being real about it. It's a whole season. Look at the contrast from last season to this season. Harry Maguire, psychologically, is not the player he used to be. Anyway, we're out of here, guys. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Make sure before you do, press the like button, share the show, and tune in, like I said, on Friday night for Mr. B's Takeout. And obviously, I'm doing the quiz show on Friday and with Mr. Herbert.
Make sure Mr. B doesn't take himself out.
So we're signing out now, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mr. B. You've done a long shift today. You deserve a rest. And yeah, we're out of here, guys. We're out of the cup.